Joel might be online, so.
You know, the thing that we just got last time.
No, sometimes, well, sometimes he does.
That's fine. All right, well, I'm not gonna hold things up, it's 5 o'clock. Let's call this, June 9th planning commission meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, looking for, take approval of May 12th, 2025 minutes as presented.
I'll move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second. Got a motion, got a second, any discussion? Call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving on, chicken permit, Robert Nowicki, 4404 Sunset Drive, Elder of the May Planning.
Yes.
Are you here?
Yes.
All right,
Step
discussion
forward.
from the sport.
They have everything in order.
Everything's in order, looking for a motion to approve their chicken permit?
I will definitely move to approve. Everything looks good. I'll second it.
Got a motion second, any discussion? Call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You have chickens. Thanks. All right, chicken permit, Hamden, 28725 Beach Drive, Elder with the May Planning. Are you here? Okay, well, I know in the past, it says we held these over if they're not here. I'm gonna recommend to this board, based on a fellow supervisor, Eulanders, that I hold these over if they got everything in order. Let's just make a motion to approve it, move forward, or give them 30 days thing. If not, they gotta start over.
Well, in this one, Mr. Chairman, it looks like he's kind of short on the square footage.
Okay? Well, that's a concern then.
It says 27 square feet for 4 chickens and we need 64.
Okay, well, then that one's gonna have to be held over. I don't see them here. All right, you wanna make a motion to hold over to the square footage?
So moved.
A motion looking for second?
I'll second.
Have a second, any discussion? Call for vote, all in favor to hold it over?
Aye.
Aye. No chickens there. All right, renewal short-term rental permits. Says no changes, everybody should have a copy of all the short terms in their packets here.
Brianna can answer any questions that you would have.
Any questions for Ariana? Looks like we got a decent amount of them.
We added 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, you got 3 not renewing, you added 4. And 2 more long-term rentals, so.
Have we had any issues, complaints, calls on any of these over last year?
Nothing that will.
Nothing
I
that
haven't heard.
would have, no, nothing that would have, other than some people just don't like the short-term rentals, but nothing like, oh, this place threw a big party and they were loud, no.
And I can personally attest that I have a couple of these next door to me. When there were issues, I have followed directly with the property owner, and they have been prompt in addressing concerns about noise levels or other things, so.
Good.
It does happen,
Okay,
and it is a risk point with these businesses in general that I think we just need to keep an eye on.
absolutely.
Okay, looking at a motion to approve renewals, the current ones, and remove the 3 not renewing.
Motion approved.
Got a motion to approve, looking for a second. Second,
I'll second.
got a second, any further discussion? Call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes. All right, discussion and possible action regarding new short-term rental applications. So it looks like there's 4 of them on here. They were all in your packet. Any questions from reviewing them?
No questions.
Okay, looking at a motion to approve those then, based on no questions or anything.
I'll move to approve.
And a motion looking for a second?
1 second.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Brandon does,
There is one,
we have that,
Moneta
over on Scenery.
Center, on
Or
Center,
Center.
excuse me, yeah, Moneta on Center. When I contacted them about having the proper permits for, short-term rental, then they came in and filled out the paperwork, the application and such, and I'd asked for a copy of the insurance policy. They said that they received their insurance via VRBO and Airbnb.
Do you know
What's
that, do you know that to be true, Hunter?
Say it again. That if you participate in Airbnb or VRBO, that they provide insurance, liability insurance to you.
They provide a rental insurance, like a stay insurance for guests, but it's not to the home specific. They do, like, they will cover replacement costs for damaged items. But
Okay,
it is not like a whole umbrella coverage of the unit itself.
It's not a homeowner's policy.
Correct.
correct. So when I asked him about this, I said, there's casual and casualty and liability insurance, and he said, I don't have that, and it's via Airbnb and VRBO. I did my best to research it, to get definition.
Yeah, so they do have a coverage themselves that covers the short-term rental operator, in relation to the guests. But it is not a homeowner's insurance
Oh,
policy
okay.
itself.
Because I was looking at
Thanks,
it,
Hunter.
like, why would a lot of people take out the additional policy if you didn't technically need it?
Well, then, I'll be honest, with you, that shouldn't even be on the list for approval tonight, if
Well,
they don't have the paperwork together
So,
first.
well, we wanted to check, I think that there was one type of coverage, but not the second one. So we weren't sure if it
But
would,
that can be clarified before the board meeting.
okay. We weren't sure if you would approve it based, and
Well, we got, the motion is
If they
made
can.
right now to approve all four of these, not individual ones. We can go back and retract the motion to do them individually
okay,
and basically not approve that one or basically approve it conditionally, but they have to have the homeowner's insurance within 30 days.
okay.
Let me
By-
ask you, this,
by
did
the
they
end of
pay the
June.
fee? Did they pay the fee?
Yes, they did, and it's
Okay, so-
non-refundable.
Yes, but again, that should have probably been addressed or questioned prior to the meeting, so we wouldn't have any
Okay,
discussion on it right now. So,
okay.
all right, so let's retract the motion.
I'll retract.
Well, Adam got it
Adam,
first,
yeah,
Adam
sorry.
made a second.
Sorry, I will retract.
Okay, so the motion and the first motion I read and retracted. So, okay, let's go one by one. 49 Riverside Road, Jeremy Doring and Tracy Caps, do we want to approve their short-term rental? Need a motion, in a second.
I'll make a motion to approve their short-term rental.
Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that one passes. Looking for a motion to 4965 Bayfield Drive, Skipper and Tina Riley. That's a new one. So, looking for a motion for that one. Ooh. Got a motion, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6517 Riverside Road, Andrew Landry and Ryan Van Spanker, motion to approve their short-term rental. Looking for a motion.
Move to approve.
Got a motion, looking for a second?
Second.
Got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now the final one here that we don't have the proper insurance for, but they paid the fee. 5424 Center Lane, Edward and Joy Moneta. Are you here, by the way? I don't think I've seen.
No.
Okay, so looking for a motion to approve, but we will not issue approval until the proper insurance is received. I'll make that motion that we approve based on proper insurance provided to the town.
By the end of this month.
By the, yeah, well, the 10th, so I'll just say 30 days, July 10th they have to. It takes a while to get a policy to be requested that way. Or they should be able to print it online like most
Yeah,
people.
yeah, everybody's been emailing it,
So,
because the permit starts at the end, for July
Yes.
1st.
that's fine, I'm fine with June 30th, then we wanna start at July 1st, keep it consistent.
Okay.
That's my motion, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any discussion? Call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, we got those done. Alright, now resolution approving reclassification. Everybody got the information on that for the past several months.
Yep.
We need a motion basically to move forward, for the town board approving reclassification, so looking for this board to make a motion to approve the reclassification. Okay, we got a motion, looking for a second. Second,
I'll second.
got a second, any discussion?
My only question on this, because I'm remembering back to the
Back
October.
October, yep.
And it's noted in here that the planning commission's only requested for clarification if needed of certain items and definitions.
Yep.
Which would be accompanied. Do you remember what,
Yeah.
what were those?
It was you wanted a definition for REU, so I did make that change.
Okay,
And, I think that was like the only one.
I do remember, I remember bringing
Yeah.
up something, but it's been a number of months.
Yeah.
And I
It's
couldn't
been some
remember
time,
what it
yes,
was.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, got a motion second, any further discussion? Call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. All right, town level variance, Kirst, on behalf of Waterford Woods Homeowners Association Community Playground located across from 4208 Valley View Lane and 4231 Waterford Drive. Request to place a storage container, variance needed as request violates ordinance dated 11/10/2008, regular use of storage containers. Are you here? Want to please come up?
Good evening.
Address,
Say,
please.
yeah, name and address,
Name
please.
and address.
My address?
Yes.
Name and address, yes.
Steve Kirst, Kirst, 4431 Riverside Road.
Okay, then explain to this board why you guys want to have this container here and not have put a building up or anything like that.
Sure, we are a homeowners association with about 250 residents. Upriver from Uncle Harry's across from Rivermore Golf Course towards the river. We own a lot of things. The association owns a lot of things like rototillers, lawnmowers, beautification things, wheelbarrows, rake shovels, swim buoys, swim ropes, picnic tables, litter baskets, all this kind of stuff. It's currently housed at many different houses in the area. We're trying to find a central location to put them so that we have a central location to store everything under lock and key. We looked into a permanent building. We just simply don't have the money for that right now. So we thought a storage container would be a good solution. Now, a storage container in and of itself is ugly. Am I honest? That's not what we want. I would be, because I'm the, should we say that, the guy that does all the repair, the groundskeeping and that type of thing. I would be cutting windows into it. I would be cutting doors into it. I would be setting it on a level, flat, plumb surface, not a surface, but it would be level. It wouldn't be just sitting on the ground. We would be making, and then we would be painting the outside of it a forest green color so that it blends in with the environment, so it looks like it belongs there. Where we want to put it is in Meehan Park, way off in the corner. It lands within the setback rules and regulations, but it's in an area that's not being currently used now by our people or the public. Meehan Park is a 3-acre park that has a triple flagpole, American flag, state flag, Waterford Woods flag. We have brand new swing sets. We have slides. We've got almost a 3-acre open area where kids play with their drones. They fly flat, or they fly kites, that type of thing. So it wouldn't be restricting what we have right now. And the current board that we have right now is very much wanting, and has for the last 3 years, of improving everything that we have in our area. Everything that we've had, we've painted, we've upgraded the playground equipment, we put the rubber mulch underneath it. So we're simply looking to solve a problem. We're not trying to just put up a storage area, a storage container that looks like crap. That's not me, okay? The windows that we would cut into it, I'm proposing to our association that we make those out of polycarbonate so that they're shatterproof, if you will. Nothing is shatterproof, but they are more shatterproof. They've got a better UV rating. We want to put the windows up high on the container so that the light goes in, but yet people can't see in for nosiness. We're gonna cut double doors on the front side of it to make it look more like a shed, so that the retired people for the beautification committee can actually go into it without having to open up the big cargo doors. Yet the cargo doors will still be accessible to us on the backside, which is not seen by anybody, so that we can roll bigger things into it, like picnic tables, lawnmowers, that type of thing. So this is very well thought out. We have a beautification committee that says, once it's up, they're gonna decide, do they wanna plant arborvitaes or plants around it? Do we wanna hang, flower, what do you call them, planter boxes on the windows, that type of thing. We need storage, but we're gonna make it look nice.
So, Steve, have you, obviously done a lot of homework on this
Yes,
for certain. Have you looked at the liability or risk issues with respect to the potential for, I don't know, kids or anybody climbing up on top of this thing, about the risk of, someone getting hurt by doing something that they shouldn't be doing around it, anything like that?
we have, according to our association, there would be no different risk than somebody climbing up on a garage roof. Because it's an 8-foot high structure, typical of what a house or a garage, single story house or a garage would be. Yeah, there's that risk, there's no doubt, but we've looked into it. We hold monthly meetings and our board has unanimously voted for this. The people that are at large have unanimously voted for it. I have personally gone around the subdivision, anybody that's in view of this, and we've talked to them about it, they're in favor of it. So, this isn't something that we just kind of willy-nilly, we put some research into it. I have, because I'm the guy I go to.
Questions?
Do you have any kind of roof on it, Steve, or is it gonna be flat?
Flat roof.
Okay.
You can buy different types of containers. Some are referred to as is, which mean they could have the hell beat out of them. You can also get ones that are what they call one-timers. They came across, so they're like brand new. But either way, they do sell them as waterproof and windproof. Waterproof meaning the roof as well as the gaskets on the door. Regardless, I would be making it waterproof and windproof because I weld, whether it's wood, steel, aluminum, I have the capabilities of doing all that. And I have a reputation to uphold. I'm not gonna put something that looks like a container in an area that represents us. I've driven back in that area recently. It's changed. It's very, very nice now.
Any further questions from this board?
I'm looking to understand what the variance is that's being requested.
Well, our ordinance clearly states from 17 years ago that we don't allow storage containers, period, of any kind. And you can for 90 days, you know what I mean? But, the copy was in our packet stating what it was, you know what I mean? So,
Here are some pictures, if you will.
everybody's got that.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna do something, like I said, paint it a forest green on the outside and white on the inside so it reflects the light. It would be secured with locks on the back. And it's not available for you to put your rototiller in. No, I'm sorry. That has come up, and the answer is no. Unless the association owns it, it will not be housed in that item.
So who's purchasing the association's
Homeowners
purchasing?
Association, yes, sir.
understand what your variance is now.
And from a security perspective, you know, how many people are you anticipating having keys or access?
Two. A primary and an alternate.
Okay. And those would be the homeowners association board representatives or?
Well, one will be me, and I'm not necessarily a board representative, I'm just a local handyman guy that does all the work. But, you know, if that's what you're asking, yeah, we can give it to either a board member or, Patty here is the secretary. It could either be a board member or what's the other level? Executive board or the, officers, yeah. So it could be either an officer or a board member. But more than likely, I would have one. I'm just Joe Schmo that does all the work.
Please understand, I'm not against it, I'm just trying to understand, because we are going to set a precedent here tonight.
It does tell us for the town board for final approval, but this board makes a recommendation to town board, so. Further discussion. Tina, do you have anything, have we any issues with, I know we had some temp people wanted to keep one, stuff like that, but never really a variance for one, correct?
Right, no, he hasn't applied for a variance yet.
I guess this board should look at it case by case and they do all their homework with the neighbors and they're all part of the homeowners association, I mean, obviously my opinion, I like a building, but I understand your reasoning. So,
In the future, we're hoping to put up a pavilion, which would be a storage area with a roof off the side, concrete slab, picnic tables. The ladies want flush toilets and everything else. You're looking at 6 figures. So until we either get a corporate donation or somebody passes, unfortunately, that wants us to have a pavilion.
let me ask you this storage container is not gonna have any plumbing or anything?
No,
just
no electricity,
storage container,
no
And
plumbing,
then
no
you can make
heat.
it as pretty as possible.
Absolutely.
How
And
long do you
then
think something like this is gonna take you to complete, Steve, from when you get dropped off to beautifying it and?
4 months.
I do think the point about if we were to approve this, that we're approving it for a legal entity that is not a private party. The risk from a precedent setting perspective that individual homeowners would feel now that this is a green light to have something like this approved, I think is a risk that somehow we ought to mitigate if we're gonna move forward to approve this.
Well, it would be the homeowner association that's presenting this and there's the ownership of this.
Right.
So it's really not any individual home bringing a container in the yard. It's an association putting it on, I don't wanna say public land, but it's their
It's our association.
association park.
No, and I think that's the important point,
Yes.
where if we ever had a private citizen come and say, listen, I've got, 3 acres and I wanna put one of these next to my garage or my driveway, that's a different scenario than what this is here.
All right, board, how do you wanna move forward? We're gonna make a motion to approve, to go to the town board for their review. That's not a motion, I was asking you guys. what you wanna do.
I'd make the motion to approve it, subject to the container being camouflaged with plants, trees, whatever, painted with windows as you stated.
Would it be easier if maybe it was like within 6 months we approve the look of the container?
Well,
Like,
once,
it gives him time to.
well, you got time, but once it comes in, it's gonna be there. What are we gonna do? You don't have a tree, you're gonna take it away, you can't really do that, my opinion. So it's either sort of all or nothing, but like Tom said, it's not really starting a precedent because it's not an individual homeowner, it's an association. Now, would it come up with other associations? It could, but I don't think we have that many that have their own little parks and stuff like that, right?
The other question though, to add, question is it a perpetual variance? Meaning, Steve, everything that you've described and the fact that you're here and from what I can gather, I think you'd be great carekeeper of this thing and do all the things that you're describing that you're gonna do. 3 years, 5 years down the road, it's not you anymore, and all of a sudden the thing falls into a state of disrepair and it becomes an eyesore or whatever the case may be. That is a risk that we're taking on if what we're granting is a perpetual variance.
Well, that would fall under our, probably another ordinance for,
Most of our variances are perpetual. In other words, they are forever.
wouldn't that fall on, if it fell into disrepair, that would go under,
Well, then somebody would bring it back in, and yeah, there would be a question of the building itself.
Yeah.
Building inspector could do something, but
Yeah.
the variance doesn't go away. Unless somebody feels that there was improper information submitted, or otherwise it's gonna go through.
all right, what does the board wanna do for association?
There's a motion on the floor.
Wait, there's a motion, I need a second. Can we second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion second. Any further discussion? I know we have a motion to approve with a second. All right, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the variance?
Aye.
Aye, it passes. You got your variance.
So what's my next step?
I would, you submitted this stuff right now. I think there was, I would talk to Tina and you start going on it and getting it ordered. Yeah, the town board had to approve it first. I'm sorry about that. It's gotta go to town board. So you gotta stick around another half hour or so. All right, you may have more questions from the town board supervisors, so.
Sure, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, number 10, accept resignation of Commissioner Tom, I would have your name up here, Morowski, right? Is that good or is that? Borowski, oh, I'll get it right straight. So anyways, Tom has decided to resign from planning commission. And I have accepted his resignation since he's on town board now. And I will be looking to fill that seat. So if anybody's interested, please reach out to me. That's it. Looking for a motion. There's no public comments or correspondence, so no forthcoming events. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Got a motion, got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are done. Thank you. 5:27.
Okay, thank you.
All I ask is
All right. Okay, we're gonna call this meeting to order. All right, at 5:31 PM, we're gonna call the town board meeting together for June 9th, 2025 at 5:31 PM. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, looking for the approval of town board minutes dated May 12th, 2025, and special meeting minutes dated May 12th and May 19th, 2025, as printed. There were several changes that were caught in Tom. There's a couple that I made note of. Anybody else see things?
the ones that I caught were addressed in the copy we have in front of us.
Okay. Tina, I just mentioned the one to you under section B.
Yep.
That Dale did not vote on that one, just make a note of that.
Yep.
And then also under section C, there was a vote missing there, I believe that was 4-1. And then the name under the Tishkin Lions for Brent Fielder was actually Brad Fielder.
Okay.
Those are the changes I saw along the tops. Any other changes?
I'll move to approve the minutes as printed.
Got a motion approved, looking for a second.
I'll second that motion.
Got a second. Motion second, any discussion? If not, call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, approval to pay claims as presented by treasurer's report. Everybody got the financial. So everybody reviewed it. I do want to mention, Supervisor Ulander brought up some invoices last time that we pulled. But I did see that were put back in this month and we discussion on those, so we can move forward. Tom, you want to discuss those, please?
Yeah, I did follow up on the invoices that Bob questioned last month. To Dale's comments at last month's meeting, those were and are specifically related to the cooperative boundary plan work that was going on with the village. They were the engagement of an engineer to develop two of the state required exhibits for the draft boundary plan that was put together. Verifying that that was what they were for. Bob, you had also asked who had approved them, but I thought more about that and looked at the situation. I came to the conclusion that this town board approved them by virtue of the fact that it authorized the resolution to move forward in pursuit of a cooperative boundary plan with the village of Waterford. And that authorization in drafting that cooperative boundary plan included any expenses that the team would have incurred in the process. So this was part of that.
Okay, any other questions? We have a motion second. No questions, I'll call for vote. All in favor to pay the
No,
claims as
wait.
presented?
There was no motion.
There was. I'll make the original motion. Dale seconded.
That was on the meeting minutes.
Okay, well, I'll call for a motion for the treasury report to be claims as presented. And to say that we presented the discussion of that.
I'll move to pay the claims as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, same order. Any further discussion?
Now they did.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, moving on, there's no correspondence, so we will move on to department committee reports. Greg Horth, Racine County Supervisor report. Come up, sir. State your name and address, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Pleasure to see you all this evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about what's going on in the county. I believe that you all have received a copy of the state of the county address that was given by County Executive Ralph Malicki. And I'm only going to go over a couple of the highlights of that, not go through the whole 6 pages, if you will. And, you know, this was given 2 weeks ago. And I will tell you that the county executive really does run with a philosophy of always trying to be better. That is his personal philosophy. And being better is something and trying to always improve upon maybe what was done before, or maybe what is the current situation. So he's very targeted on that. In his State of the County address, he also spoke specifically about financial stability, making sure, and sensibility, making sure that we are targeting it for the entire county. He has 2 specific objectives. One, to create a workplace that is a choice by cultivating an environment that really works towards the benefit of the county, the whole county. Not, and then I hate to say it this way, but not east of 94 versus west of 94, because that's something that I've made sure that we're always trying to get our fair share of the attention west of 94, because I know that that's been a topic in the past. And the part of that is he also wants to make sure that he has a great collaboration of the working within the communities. Part of this year's focus is also going to be, of course, the 911 dispatch and the implementation of all of the efforts that are going on right now. Clearly, this is a big topic. There's a big financial commitment and investment that has to be made in this. And it's going to be requiring all the communities in the counties to work counties, communities, municipalities in general to work together on it. Another item that he brought up is the fact that we have a 40-year-old patrol station building that unfortunately has seen its better days. But rather than starting from scratch and building all new, they're going to be putting an addition on of roughly 30,000 square feet. So the entire facility will now be roughly 50,000 square feet. And of course, it's also going to house all of the new infrastructure for the 911 services and facilities and emergency services that we have. So we're excited about it, but yet there's still a lot of work to be done. The next item is that, and I was pleased that he actually highlighted this, so I'm going to read it the way he says it. Municipalities across the county have worked very hard to revitalize their downtown areas into vibrant main streets. Rochester, Union Grove, Burlington, and Waterford are experiencing impressive renaissances. We actually got our name mentioned in a county meeting, and it wasn't from me. And I'm staying focused on making sure that that is something that we are always going to be top of mind, no matter what, good and the bad. Last meeting, I stood up here and I talked about the unfortunate situation that happened at the high school. But we're gonna be proactive, we're gonna be transparent, and we're gonna make sure that everybody is aware of what's going on. So with that having been said, I had a couple of other quick items. They're talking about strong partnership with the Racine County Economic Development Group for mutual collaboration on funding, financing, tourism opportunities, housing. Housing been a big issue that we have had a challenge in Racine County about available housing, I should say. And so that's something that I know they're talking about. And then, of course, many of you may or may not be aware, we did the groundbreaking for the Behavioral Health Center 2 weeks ago, which is something that is being built specifically for targeting some of the challenges of the infrastructure of the people that are having difficulties behaviorally, and or for that matter, anything to do with the development of working with the community. So with that having been said, I'll keep it short on that end, be available if there's any questions that I can offer, any information on. But as always, appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak directly to the board. Mr. Chairman, is there anything or any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you for sending the report.
Thank you all. I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the police department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board. The numbers for May, we had 19 accidents. We assisted the county 8 times. We had 13 civil troubles. We had 3 community engagements, 12 parking violations, 10 reckless drivers, 43 rescue runs, 11 suspicious circumstances, 33 traffic violations, and 14 welfare checks for a total of 430 calls in the month of May. Any questions, sir?
Nope, I have no questions. Board, do you have any questions?
Sure.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Moving on to Tisch Fire Company.
We had 24 calls, 6 were fire, EMS 11. We had 3 Mavis calls, 3 Mavis fire calls, and 1 drowning call, Mavis call. Also, Tischman Fire will be having a blood drive Friday, June 20th, 8 to 1 at the firehouse in station number 1 at 164. And also, Tischman Fire will be attending Racine County Breakfast on the Farm, June 28th, 7 to 11 at the Frost Farm, 32000 Bridge Drive. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you very much. Waterford Fire and Rescue, have we got anything to them? I will make a note, I will reach out to them, the fire lady. Waterford Waterway Management District. Tom?
Yep, Tim, Commissioner McCormick is unable to be with us tonight, so I'm giving a report on the WWMD. A couple of noteworthy items. One, mechanical harvesting operations are underway. WWMD started that the week of May 19th, but there were weather issues and a couple of other delays that have put us a little bit behind on the mechanical harvesting operations on the waterway, although we're trying to catch up with that. All citizens can find a published schedule of mechanical harvesting out on WWMD website. It should be noted that you want to register on that website to get continual updates of changes there if you're interested in that. We reported last month that the WWMD is required to do an update to its aquatic plant management plan in order to get a 5-year renewal from the DNR on our mechanical harvesting permit. That updating of the plan process requires something called point intercept surveys out on the waterway to check for weed population, changes in the weed patterns, growth, et cetera, those kinds of things. That cannot start until next week, which has put us behind in some of the normal herbicide treatment that would be going on. So we've been taking calls from concerned riparian owners about weed growth and whatnot on the waterway. We understand that. We're asking for patience in that there is a couple of these delays that we're dealing with that are out of our control. But we expect to be back on schedule by the end of June, early July, and hope to be taking care of those things at that time. So herbicide treatments and treatment specifically of Buena Lake with a special herbicide called Procelicor. That is anticipated to take place towards the end of the week of June 16th and into the week of June 23rd. So hang in there. If you're concerned about the weeds, we should have it under control by early July. That's the report from WWMD.
Okay, thank you very much. Park and Road Department.
Park and Road Department, good evening, everyone. I got a lot to cover. The park, we're gonna be putting some new wood chips down at the park and Station 2. About 140 yards, so it's on order. As soon as we get to it, it'll be probably a week and a half, 2 weeks or so when that happens. And a new backhoe digger from the sandbox, that's ADA approved. That price actually went up a bit. Just to let you know, it's $2,000 for that.
You told me 900.
It has a different mounting system. I know they're both ADA, but that one will bolt right onto the other one, so we don't have to remount or cement a new base. Okay, along with that, you guys have the package in front of you?
Oh, wait, let me hand those out.
Do not.
Kind of ties in with the sheet that Tina gave us earlier.
Okay, that first page is town line road numbers. Considerably lower than what we had initially planned, because that bid came in at $1,211,000. We are now, and the grant was $1,050,000. We came in at $1,004,003.80. So once all the bills are paid, our half that we have to contribute is $153,612, half of the 307. So we actually saved about 150,000 each, just by coming under. That is like a gift at 69.4% of the owner funds. We have two outstanding bills, as far as we know, that we have to pay. And then we can't start the process to get our money back until verification has been made that all the bills are paid. I don't know when we'll find that out, maybe this week or so. When all the bills were paid.
Can make a note about, we don't have anything this week or next week. Let's look into it.
Okay. All right, next, of course, the bid openings were last Friday. Crack filling and roads. You guys have, the first one is the crack filling one, considerably low. Two bidders, Foreigner and American Pavement. 11,357.
And Ken, how does that compare to past years in terms of this service?
See, in the years past, they would just, basically, we never really bid it out. They just would do so much and then move on. I like this way better. We exactly know what it's gonna be.
Okay, and we exactly know where it's gonna be and.
Yep. What's out here? You're gonna ask that. Wood. Gavin, East River Bay, and all of our Michigan roads.
Yeah, so
Those are better roads, and we need to keep those dry. We don't have to pick that bidder right now, because they got other stuff to cover that's gonna come up with a formula to be on the project. Okay, the next most important one in the packet is roads. And the roads that we bid out. Now remember, we still on the hook for Miller Road for 58.5 that was rolled over from last year. with all those roads that are on that list, 126,470. Those prices are just amazing for what we're gonna get. As you can see, the first page, Hubbardson Road, North Lake, to Grove. Next one will be Cayley Court. I'll circle around to that in a minute. Next one would be Bayside Cove. Probably won't do that. That's just more of an informational number. Idlewood, that small patch on Idlewood, or actually it's on Sandy, it crosses Idlewood that we promised those people we would do. Larger patch on East Peninsula, 95 by 21, full line patch. And last but not least, our worst was Honey Creek Road, north of Highway 20. Actually, south from Hill Valley, about 3,800 linear feet. And that, all them totals came in, asphalt contractors were the lowest, then Wolf, and then Starks. We don't have to pick each road right now, but we just need to pick a vendor, and then we can make minor changes as we go. With that said, next page, you guys have a map of Cayley Court. Okay, I know I've talked about this several times with Cayley Court. It's right in the middle of the page, going north. It's really actually a driveway. Really look at it. It's listed as a town road. Half the road was paved about 6 years ago. We had prices 3 years ago to do that, but it was very expensive to make it 2 lanes. Right now, it's just over a lane to do that. So the only way to give that up respectively is to do it and then give it up to the homeowners. I know I mentioned that to you a few times, but someone's gonna have to make a decision on what you wanna do with Cayley Court. It's really not a road. It's a road, but it's only like 12 feet wide, 12 and a half maybe. As you can see, it goes nowhere. And spend all that money to make that lane and 3/4, it'd be costly, very costly.
Well, it's wider till the first turn, like in the Y at Kaylee's, and then from that,
It's paved almost to where Cayley, where the S is,
yeah. And then north of that, it's just,
it's toast.
how wide is that going north? Is it 12 feet or something, you said?
Yeah, and then it gets a little bit bigger as you get towards the garage.
Yeah, how many houses are on that narrow part? Is it just 1 or 2?
3.
Oh, there's 3 houses up there.
Well, 3 on the end, 1 in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now's the opportunity to do that. If you wanted to give that road up,
Would we have to contact the homeowners?
I've never done that. I don't know if
There's a statutory procedure, Jenny.
Yeah.
To go through it, and we can't do it tonight.
correct. I'm just throwing this out there.
My recommendation for that is, Dale, since you oversee DPW, research this a little more. And make a recommendation to the rest of the board.
Okay.
Ken, are you good with that?
And the monies that we've been spending last year and this year, all the monies that we've been spending, of course, it's gonna raise the amount of money we get back from the state next year. So, to what degree that is, I don't know. I don't see those numbers, but I'm just letting you know.
Do we have to take any action on this other Kapor stuff here? I don't wanna delay roads from getting done right now.
Yeah, we probably should pick a vendor for the roads.
For the
And-
seal coating or for the roads? Obviously, seal coating is under budget what we got,
Both, yes.
so.
But now with that said, I talked to my liaison, Kirky, a couple of times on these numbers that we just got today. Of course, we're not gonna be able to do it all, because we gotta do Miller Road. For simple math, $26,470 that are in the bid for this year. And if we add in crack filling at 11,357, and we add in Miller Road, but we minus Bayside Cove at 19,775. That'll give us to a grand total of 276,552. This year, we bid off 275. So,
Didn't you just mention that we carried money over from last year for the
not
Miller Road?
money, we just carried the project over.
Yeah, they're guaranteeing the price to be the same.
Yeah, they awarded last year's price for this year,
And what is that price?
58.5. Actually, it's add 7,600 because East Troy is shipping in their section at 7,600. There's a small little sliver that's actually theirs. That there is some creative math that we could have to do with meeting with Supervisor Gerke. We may have to shuffle another project to be well under in case we have undercuts. In case we have a soft spot, it can be quite expensive, and then we're gonna be way over. So I suggest we look into minusing something else so we can be under.
Yeah, we need to be under, that's for sure.
Yep.
Now, you don't have a separate budget line item for crack filling, that's,
Yeah, just under roads.
that's part of the road paving budget.
Yeah.
All right, board, we just want to make a motion.
I'll make, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dale.
I'll make a motion that we award the bid for crack sealing to Farner Asphalt Sealers for 11,357. And that we bid the paving program, award the bid paving program to asphalt contractors for 226,470. That's my motion.
Got a motion, looking for a second.
Yeah, she
Well,
said
now
the
we need a
amount.
second, we need a second motion before we get discussion. Looking for a second, all right. Now we can have discussion.
Who seconded?
You mentioned the number of 226,470. Yep, we're not spending that. You just have to pick the bidder. And then we
He
have
mentioned asphalt contractors.
Yeah, it's just,
But not at a specific amount.
I
okay,
just
then I'll
wanted,
amend,
just wanna make sure we're not on the hook.
okay, I'll amend the motion to award the crack sealing program to Farner Asphalt Sealers LLC and the 2025 asphalt paving program to asphalt contractors of Union Grove, Wisconsin.
You want to add not to exceed the budget, including Miller Road, 275, that's what we got budgeted.
Okay, I'll add not to exceed the $275,000 that was budgeted for this 2025 year.
We'll read my second.
I got a new motion that Dale just made, looking for a second to continue forward.
Right, second.
Oh, just a second, okay, I've got a motion second, call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, a few more things. The bus company wants us, or someone to put up road crossing stencils in the road on Honey Creek and Hill Valley. I reached out to them 3-4 times now, no answer back on placement of these X's and R's. They're quite big, so I'm waiting for a response from them so I can put it in the proper spot. Just been quite fussy with that. Been working on the engine brake sign for Highway 83. I believe everything is in place. I just have to mark out the sign coming in on Highway L, because one person complained. All this paperwork just for one sign.
Wait, on Highway L?
North, oh, I'm sorry, coming in off of 83, because the complaint was on 83.
Yeah, but the complaint on 83 was closer to.
It has to be at the limits, at the town limits.
Oh,
It
really?
can't be in between. has to be on the limits of township coming in.
So it's not gonna be placed where the 40-mile speed reduction is?
Nope. That's the way they roll over there at the DOT. Has to be on the limits of the township.
Okay, because the one on Highway 20, just across from where Ed Ketterhagen used to
That's county
live,
road,
that's a state road.
I mean, state road, but
83 is
I
a
don't know how
state.
they do that, I seen it, I got pictures of it. I don't know how that got worked in, I don't know.
Okay, well, I guess you have to
This is
put it
what
where they
the
say.
state supervisor from the DOT was telling me regarding the engine brake sign. Actually, really don't need it, because the state covers, all that's covered under state statutes.
Yeah, but again, I
We'll get
think,
the sign up.
I think the complainant is right where it reduces from 55 to 40, and that's where the noise is, but you have to put it where the state tells you, I guess.
Yep.
Okay,
Next would be the AT roads. Actually, it worked out in conjunction with the same person that does the engine brake sign, does the ATV signs. Right now, I'm working on a permit for six different locations of same thing as you come in from all the state highways coming into town. 83, 36, 20, both ways coming in. 83 and 20, so that's gonna take a little bit, so I should have that done maybe this week, because I gotta have maps and so on, they wanna know.
Well, how are you gonna cover the roads not covered by the ordinance?
What's that?
How are you gonna cover the roads not covered by the ordinance, like,
They don't
okay?
We have to submit our ordinance that we drafted, and they look at it and see if it's sufficient to cover their needs. Can't put any speed limit signs on the ATV signs themselves.
Oh, that's,
So
And
the
again-
minimum, Ken, is state
35.
highway intersection points coming in?
On state highways.
Okay,
And the county's actually meeting on the 12th when it comes to any jurisdiction on the county level, when it comes to Highway O, Highway L, and Highway K. So we may have to do something separate with that too, but they don't know because it's all new to them too.
okay, and again, this should not be our cost to taxpayers, because that was not,
Don't,
presented that way, so, okay.
I don't know who's flipping the bill for the signs and posts, but it's gonna add up. So,
you're not ordering any until you find that out, right?
Yeah.
that's correct, yes. On a good note, we helped Wind Point, they had that storm on a few days before May 22nd with straight line winds. So a bunch of departments got together and helped them out for a day. Union Grove, Caledonia, Mount Pleasant, Sturtevant, and the village, us and Racine County. Helped them out for a day and got 85% done. So they were quite pleased. So now they're actually gonna try to submit some paperwork to get some money through FEMA potentially. Now we just need is our work benefit package, and I can send that off to them for a reimbursement. At least they're gonna try.
Okay.
Banner Park Road, we had a meeting on May 14th, that went well with all the people involved with TDS, We Energies, engineers, the village, us. That went well. They're actually starting, TDS is actually really starting already on moving some of their stuff. We Energies is gonna start next Monday. And they're gonna try to get to do some work in there by the end of the month. It's gonna take a while to get that road done.
what's the projected completion on that, Ken?
Exactly, no.
It's the end of August.
It was in August.
Yeah.
It was in August. So just to recap those numbers, and then that's all I have. Let's see here. We're on the hook for 1.483 for that project. The village is on check for 413.8, and we'll have a grant for 953,273. So we'll be on the hook for that project. If there's no extras, at 530,653. That's a pretty nice gift, at 90%.
And with the bike lanes and the sidewalk, that's really gonna benefit a lot of the subdivisions all the way up and down. there.
Yep.
So this would be really nice when it's done.
So Ken, do you know if there's any other communication plan to homeowners, any other meetings, any other status updates. The only reason that I'm asking is that, you know, people are questioning, like, I thought it was supposed to start, why isn't it started, where is it at, all of that kind of stuff. Do we have a communication conduit open with the residents who are, you know, stakeholders in the
Yeah,
area?
that got mentioned at the meeting with everybody, but who's in contact, it would be the engineering company and the inspector. All calls will go through them.
Okay,
But is there any proactive communication with you can expect that your road's gonna be torn up on this date and you expect to have it finished, obviously.
I mean, to knock on everybody's door and tell them we're gonna, you know, be out front.
We could public notice at town hall, put it on the
Put it
website.
on the website.
There's some,
Yeah. I mean, just, I guess the key that I'm feeling here is there one place to go where people who are interested in the status update on the project can go to get it?
I'm not quite sure on that. We did discuss that, but whose phone number was gonna go this way or that way? Who's that central hub that's gonna take care of all those calls?
I would suggest the phone number is probably the last thing that we
Yeah.
want. It's like, give them a website update, give them something like that, even, you know, something that we can put up on our website, the village can put up on their
Who
website.
updates our website? How often is that done?
Whenever I get stuff, yeah.
Okay, well, maybe we can start line of communication with the engineer and once a week or something, put something up.
Yeah, I
Cause even
mean,
I would like that to know, like, when I come to work.
I think we all would wanna know, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You
Okay,
know.
yeah.
so if we could take that to get in contact with the engineer, if they can funnel us information. And I would suggest, and Tina, that maybe you could reach out to Rachel at the village
Yeah.
and let's both put up the same information at the same time, so everyone's getting the same information coordinated that way.
Yes.
Yes.
concept.
Yeah. Yay.
Great, thank you. I think that's gonna go a long way and just sort of alleviating, you know, stuff we wanna alleviate with that.
So, is there any discussion on how we're gonna be at with Town Line Road versus money we have for Piano Park?
We have money set aside. Yeah.
Okay.
No discussion right now.
I saw today that there's a speed limit sign that got taken out by possibly a truck or a tractor on Territorial to the, I think, eastbound, east off of Caldwell Road. Took out about half the sign.
We'll do that right now. Okay.
Alright,
Wait, something back.
yes. Alright,
If I can just put out there, first of all, I agree with all of this proactive discussion. This is a no-brainer. We have to do this, but when they did 164, there were big signs right out at the beginning of it and at the other side and along the way that basically said construction to begin, starting now. There's no reason we can't do something like that on Wayne as well as a part of the communication process, putting it all together. So I just had to say something about it, because
Those are great,
right.
No, that would be added
What?
to this price.
Like I said, Kenny, doing it right is what's important right now. It's great for the town. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure I shared that.
thank you.
I've actually seen things too where you can get text on things. On Uber.
If there's a way, Brianna, that anyone could research that, and I mean, having a website and giving somebody an ability to register for text updates on the project, obviously somebody's gotta feed that
Yeah.
system with information, but that'd be huge if we could do that.
Okay, Ken, are you all set? Is that it?
Yeah, I'm set, yeah.
Alright, move on to town planning commission recommendations, Supervisor Ulander.
There were 2 chicken permits that were carried over from last month. The first one on Sunset Drive, the commission recommended approval of that. So to follow that recommendation.
A motion to
I'll second.
second, call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
The second chicken permit, the commission held over again. The residents were not here. And per their application, they did not have enough space allotted per chicken per our ordinance. So the commission recommended carrying that one over to get clarification and let the residents. Move to also approve that recommendation of rejecting at this time that motion.
Motion to approve that recommendation. I'll second that.
Deny, or tabling, right?
Table, moving back. We really don't have to do chicken permits, that's commission only. So, all right, let's move on to continue supervisor.
The renewal of short-term rentals, those were all approved. So I would move to follow that recommendation.
That one we do make that motion. So.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye.
With the new short-term rentals, they were all approved. One was conditionally approved, pending questions on insurance. So I would follow that recommendation as well, approving the 3 outright and conditional approval on the last one, pending update of the insurance.
Got a motion, looking for a second.
I'll second that motion.
Call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
I believe it comes up later in our meeting, but the planning commission voted to adopt the recodification of our ordinances. They also approved the town level variance to have a storage container used in the Waterford Woods subdivision to store their community subdivision homeowners association property for maintaining the public areas. And they added some stipulations that I would also move to approve that recommendation as well.
Got a motion to approve, looking for a second for that one.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, discussion on that one?
I do have a question from the gentleman. Is this storage container going to be on like compacted gravel or a concrete slab?
It would be not a concrete slab, it would be compacted gravel, whatever.
Okay.
It's self-supporting. So I guess what is your question or what is your concern?
Well, I was just curious as to whether it was gonna be on a slab or not.
No,
And it has a steel floor, so if any critters get under there, they're not gonna get into the container itself.
it's a steel frame and then it's like 2x8 flooring on it. So it's a wooden floor, but it's got a steel frame around it. And then if a board goes bad, you just pop a bad board.
Oh, okay, thanks for clarifying that. I thought it would have a steel floor as well, so.
No, a lot of the things they ship, they actually screw right to the floor so it doesn't move when you're on a ship.
That's all the questions I have.
Got a motion second, call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last thing, Commissioner Marchkowski resigned from the board. I'm sure it's due in part to his new position as supervisor. I just want to say thank you for your service on the commission.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 2025-26 liquor, soda, cigarette, dance hall applications. Okay. I need a motion to approve the Class B licenses and their subsequent licenses for Bobbers, Chris's Cruise Inn, Crossover Cantina and Eatery, Rivermore Golf Club, the Watering Hole, Sol Wailuna, Fishing Lake Lions Club, and to approve a Class A license and their subsequent licenses for Tishigan Lake Mobile, Greeley's Country Store, and Tishigan Beer and Liquor. I'll make that motion. So. Got a second? Call for a vote?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the soda and cigarette licenses for Ron's Super Service.
I'll move to approve that.
Got a motion, looking for a second? I'll second it. Call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the Class B license and the supplemental license for the Hilltop, subject to the satisfaction of wholesalers.
Subject to what?
Satisfaction of wholesalers. There seems to be some miscommunication on some invoices that were not paid to like the beer distributors or liquor license, stuff like that. I have talked to Jay, Tina, and the girls have talked to them multiple times. I talked to Jay and Ryan today, and they're saying it's a mistake. I said, well, until it's cleared up, your license will be on hold and you have till June 30th to get it in and clarified. If not, then we gotta take further action. Well, hopefully they'll have it cleared up for the next couple of days. So I'll make that motion, looking for a second.
I'll second that motion.
A second, any discussion then? Call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ordinance approving recognition. We've been discussing this for a long time, several, 8 months, maybe longer. 2 years. Probably right. So, but we're getting there. So, I know Bob said the changes, Dale, you read it, I went through them, I didn't really see any of the changes other than you guys did. Tom, I know we discussed a little bit, Andrew, I think I shared the book with you. The purpose of getting this going, so, once we approve this, the planning commission has done already, this is what the ordinance committee will work on with Attorney Dubus going forward. Once this is approved, if somebody's got like the ATV ordinance, okay, this is what the committee will do, work on that, or if there's anything else comes up that one by one, they'll work with Attorney Dubus on fixing any ordinance or something that may not apply to us. So right now, I think it's over 200 pages, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's quite a thick book, so. Tina will get them all updated on the website when she has time, but, you know, the book obviously is in the supervisor ordinance, the old book is, but we'll have the new ones coming in once we decide what to do with this, so. Any questions, or I'll defer to Attorney Dubus or Tina on this one, because I know they were behind this for the last several years.
We need a motion. to approve.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve recodification.
I'll move to approve that recodification.
Motion second, all right, discussion on it. Any discussion from the board?
Well, I had a couple of things I talked with Tina about, the blue book, I'll just call it, the one in the supervisor's office, doesn't have table of contents or chapter indexes or a index at the end. Tina showed me the county book and said this will be added in the future. There was one ordinance, I think the special fire assessment was in there twice. I'm glad we're being protected from taxi dances and Dutch auctions again. But I think the committee will be able to, to work on some of these things, and I'm glad we're finally getting this done, so.
And the committee, any recommendations I'll bring to the top board for us to review?
Correct. Yeah, we've yet to have a meeting. I'm not sure when the meeting will be called, but this is a good first step.
Yeah, this is a, yeah, so,
This is just probably a new guy question on this, since I haven't been through this process before, but so the work that was done, Tina, as I'm understanding it, is basically this was a true up of town municipal code to changes that occurred at the state and federal level, or things that we needed to incorporate in.
Yep, and changes like, yeah, some board members, like we changed like orchestra to DJ, live music.
Okay.
Simple things like that, and then the plannings, yeah.
You don't need to have 27 phone booths to have a special event.
No.
Okay. So there was nothing, I mean,
Modernizing.
nothing earth shaking in terms of substantive change in terms of what's in there.
Right, most of them were like changing words from like promise to profit, things that
Okay.
kind of over the
Okay.
years.
Some of the bigger ones, we had an ordinance on the books that prohibited carrying weapon. Well, state law changed, you're not allowed to conceal carry, so that ordinance was out of date, things like that.
Okay.
Landing a plane on the lake.
Okay.
Landing a plane on the lake.
Okay, so then, and then going forward, the new ordinance committee is gonna be really the group that's tasked with the reviewing and the ongoing recommendations to this board about subsequent changes that we would make.
Yeah.
And that ordinance committee then is also sort of maybe the connection to the community, and the community's got concerns about this ordinance or that ordinance or something like that. take it to the committee first, let them assess it, and then it goes.
Make the recommendation to the board, yes.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the time on that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's just to streamline things a little bit and, yeah, I don't think we should be changing orders for like a one-off here or like
No,
the potbelly pig we had for years, you know, I mean, there's certain things we may not leave, so this will streamline things a little bit, so. I got a motion second, call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, pass it.
Hallelujah.
Alright, all business, we're gonna dissolve cooperative boundary committee. Tom, I'm gonna defer to you, discuss this.
Yeah, so the idea here is that this board is gonna take formal action to dissolve the cooperative boundary committee, subcommittee, actually, that was formed by this board back in August of 2023 to work on the cooperative boundary plan with the village. I think this is the right thing to do at this time, given the fact that this board has rejected the cooperative boundary plan that was drafted. And there's any number of technicality concerns in terms of how the committee operated. I would say, having been intimately involved in that work, that those concerns, while they may be correct from the letter of the law perspective, no one involved in that work, nor anyone on this board or the village board that I'm aware of, had been through the process of creating something like this in the past. And the state's guidance on how to actually go about it is pretty minimal. So I think there's some grace that's needed to all involved in terms of how that was launched and the work going forward. The value proposition being there's great lessons learned that if we were to go forward with this type of effort again, which from my perspective, I believe that we should, that we can correct any missteps that may have happened in the past and go about it in a way that will not raise questions or concerns in terms of the approach that was used. So I want to personally thank my colleagues, former Supervisor Schwartz, Supervisor Gerke, former Village President Don Houston, and current Village President Adam Jaski. They were great partners in working on this. I think the work that has been done holds a lot of potential future value. It can always get better. Things can continue to change and evolve. But I hope that this board at some point in the future takes that work up again and moves forward, because I do think that the greater Waterford community overall wins as a result of putting something like this in place. So thank you, Chairman.
Okay, is that sort of a motion? Okay.
I would move to approve the
Dissolve.
dissolving the cooperative boundary plan committee that the town had formed in August of 2023.
All right, I have a motion looking for a second. Second. A second. Any further discussion? All right, if not, I'll call for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, moving on to new business, discussion possible action regarding AB 105 full service retail sales application of Pagoda Waterford Stillhouse. That was everybody's packet. We have granted this previously out at the farm. Can't remember.
Green Meadow.
Green Meadows, yes, Green Meadows Farm, so from one of their events, it's a one-time use that we have to grant since it's outside of our, it's in our municipality.
Move to approve.
A motion
second.
approved, got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, chair report. Two things. One is, I know Tina emailed everybody, we're looking to hold a 1 hour open meetings law training class that will be done virtually by Attorney Jenna Russo. So please get back to Tina on the dates that you can possibly do it. And let me know. The other thing I do want to hand out to all the board members here is a sample of the operations charter that Tom has graciously put together. And I'm looking for something similar to get done for all the other committees. This will come back to the board and then we will ratify that. We'll pass this on the team. All right, that's all I have for the chair report. I do have one public comment. Michelle Boris Stockton, if you want to come on up, you can have your 3 minutes and make your comments.
Hi,
I am Michelle Boris Stockton. You don't need my address, right?
Yeah. please state your address.
7519 North Tischkin Road, Waterford, Wisconsin, 53185. I want to just respectfully ask you guys on the board to try to do a little bit of a better job being transparent and more clear with your expectations. On the May 12th meeting, Supervisor Robert Ulander made quite a few, I don't want to say disagreements with what the board was saying, but he had some valid points, and I don't think they were really taken into consideration. And you can go and look at his webpage. He does list all those things. I won't go into them all now. I was a little upset over the letter of intention. Tim, you asked us you wanted to form these committees, send in these letters of intention, sealed envelope, submit them to Tina in the town hall, which I did, and I did mine on all four. But then during that meeting, I find out that you didn't share any of these letters of intention with the rest of the board members. But yet, this is a board decision, and you asked the board to make choices on people they don't even know who they're picking. I mean, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to the board members. I don't think that's fair to the people who actually applied for the positions, nor do I think it's fair to residents as a whole. So I'm just asking you guys, be a little bit more transparent. I mean, I personally sent in 3 emails. Tina can attest. I sent in 3 emails, one to the town, one to you, Tim, another to your Town of Waterford account, one to your Gmail account that's associated with your political Facebook account, and I got no responses. I emailed Tina back. So this is my 4th attempt to get information on these committees. She says, Michelle, I forwarded to the board members, so all you guys got the same email. I even asked you if you got it, and you said, yeah. Nobody responded to me. I mean, I had valid questions. I was just asking things like, give me a little bit more information about these committees. So when I'm saying you gotta be more transparent, we did what we were supposed to do to apply for the committees. I don't know why you didn't share the information with the board members before you asked them to make a choice. And now, looking back, because those are public documents, and I did go and submit for the public documents, I find out that for like the ordinance committee, only one person actually applied on that committee that has an actual letter of intent out there for that committee. The rest of you just picked and they just chose. They just rubber stamped you and said they're gonna take it.
Michelle, as chair, I do the appointments and I follow.
Right, but if it's a board decision though, they have to be
make a board
informed.
decision. I talk with people and I work with legal on that. As chair, I make the appointments.
Then why didn't you contact me back and let me know this?
I
Tim?
called you and talked to you about it. sir.
You called me for an interview for the position. You did not call me and say, hey, look, this is how I'm doing this. But okay, just for instance, okay, for your ordinance committee.
Where are we
Dale?
at time here?
Well, Dale is a supervisor, but the 4 people, John Blanken, he didn't even have a letter of intent.
It's right.
Okay, Michelle, we are done now.
Okay,
Thank you.
but please try to do a better job, because I'm gonna be watching and I'm gonna be complaining, and I'm not gonna keep not getting answers, okay?
I would like to make the point that we have a town ordinance that talks about the appointment of committees, and it does require the approval of the board. It is in our ordinance.
Right.
And as far as the appointment of the supervisor vacancy, that is regulated by state statute, and that is a board decision. That is not a chair decision that is validated by the board. That is a board decision, and it specifically states also the clerk. So these things are written down. There are rules that are supposed to be followed.
And I don't feel that they are. I really, and Tom, nothing against you. I think you're the best qualified person for that position. I truly do. And I was very impressed with your resume and your LinkedIn information. So I'm not complaining about you at all, okay? Nor am I really complaining about the other picks that you did. All I'm saying is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I
Don't
will take
expect
other
me,
best.
or
I
don't
just did
expect
what
me
the
to
past
follow
year did.
directions.
And I talked to legal and I did it the way I felt best.
So
I
four
will
of-
take ownership of that.
So 3 of the 4 people that you chose for the ordinance committee didn't even apply, didn't even send in a letter of intent for that position, and you
I
just
talked to all
submitted
of
them.
them, just like I talked to you.
Mhm.
And I talked to them about different things. Yes, we got more for one than others. And I asked them, would they want to be on the ordinance committee? And they said, sure. There's a couple people that wanted to do both. You have the letter sent to you.
I have the letters right here, but a lot of them,
That's fine.
one person said he'd do both, or 2 people said they would do both, and only one was picked.
It is done. It's time to move forward in my eyes. Thank you for talking.
Okay, but I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna be watching
That's fine.
closer,
That's
Tim. I
fine.
mean, start,
Go
be
ahead.
more transparent to us. I mean, you do work for us,
That's fine, Michelle.
okay?
Thank you.
Hopefully I won't be
All right.
there complaining every week or every month, but I will.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn, no, maybe, we're done, no, anything else.
But before that, I just want to reiterate the upcoming event of the Breakfast on the Farm at Frost Farms. It's the Racine County Breakfast on the Farm. It's in Waterford this year, so if you can make it, please come out.
Everybody, yeah.
So to clarify, that's on Bridge Road, North Lake?
Bridge and,
Yes, Bridge Road.
Marsh.
Yes,
Corner.
Yeah.
They have a sign up outside the farm now. I just-
Oh,
it's further, it's gonna be further down.
I got a motion, adjourn, looking for second,
Second.
Kim, call for vote. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Adjourned.